Living overseas is one of the great ways to increase your income and increase your happiness by living intentionally. And yet I see a lot of people making easily avoidable mistakes. I'm going to tell you what they are and how you can avoid them. This is not going to be an episode about how to reduce your taxes. We've got plenty of episodes on that elsewhere. Today I'm going to talk about how you can build a larger fortune and do so while enjoying life. And so to me, the key is someone who's lived overseas for the entirety of my life for a number of years now. The key is to use the happiness of the new place where you feel a certain energy, you feel a rush, you feel the change and you're excited about that. Even if you're anxious, you can still be excited about it, while also harnessing the frustrations that you brought from your home country, harnessing the things that as an entrepreneur, as an investor, drive you to move forward, while also understanding that you've made an intentional change and you don't want to harness those too much. And so what I see people doing is they go to a new country and they bring the baggage with them. We're all guilty of this to some extent. But if you can say, hey, here's what got me here. I'm from, if you're from the United States, for example, here's the culture that I grew up around that told me to work hard. And this is certainly not limited only to the United States, but I'm speaking from experience. Here's what I had that worked for me. I'm going to keep that part. I'm going to keep the lesson of wanting to win, the competitiveness, all of that I had when I was in my home country. And I'm also going to understand that I'm making an intentional choice of moving overseas to keep the good parts of that. And by being aware of what I'm doing and not just following the rat race of living in my country and just doing what everyone else is doing, I'm going to remove as much of the bad parts as possible. So I'm going to pull back on the stuff that I was doing too much. I'm going to pull back on the hyper-competitive nature. Let's say you're from New York City. Let's say you're from Silicon Valley. Everyone's running around competing. What if you just detach from the ego part of that and you only focused on the hard work and the value creation and you used moving overseas and the positive feelings that you gain to do that? I'm Andrew Henderson. I'm the founder of Nomad Capitalist. We help high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals, whether they're entrepreneurs or investors, legally reduce their taxes offshore, increase their freedom of second passports, and grow their opportunities. Not just for more happiness, but with better investments and better things all around. And so one of the mistakes I see people make when they move overseas is there's a certain cockiness that sometimes comes from being in clans. There's a cockiness that comes from doing things that are different. I've sometimes been a contrarian for contrarian's sake. I live, for example, in Kuala Lumpur when I'm in Asia, not Bangkok. Most of the expats you'll find live in Bangkok. We recently ran a poll, 2-to-1 people preferred Thailand to Malaysia. I happen to prefer Malaysia, and so I do as I want to do. There's times when I feel like, am I just doing this to be a contrarian because I just don't want to live where everybody else lives? I kind of want to be, left alone. I happen to like it, but you have to understand what you actually want to do. Don't be a contrarian just to be a contrarian's sake, but also don't pat yourself on the back too much, because I think what happens is you get surrounded by other folks who are doing this overseas lifestyle, and there becomes kind of an echo chamber. So there was somebody recently who was kind of sniping at us for clarifying some things on the tax front. He had said some stuff that was not entirely accurate, and so we came in and said, hey, here's some more detail. And he got kind of upset with us. Come to find out later, he's bragging about, hey, I'm making $400,000 a year, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's somebody who we might want to help here at Nomad Capitalist to create and execute a holistic offshore plan. And you can see where a guy who is saving $200,000 in taxes by going offshore should be hiring someone like Nomad Capitalist to make sure that his tax affairs are perfectly tied up. There's a lot of misconceptions. On the other hand, he's talking to somebody who has a company that's maybe 50 times that size and who works with companies that are much larger. And so, I love what Gary Vaynerchuk says, which is, hey, Mark Zuckerberg, you want to criticize me? Come and criticize me. I'm not going to listen to folks who are below me, not because I think I'm better than they are, but the point is, you'll find the loudest critics are, of course, the ones that aren't doing as well. I think that people think, oh, that's because it's aspiration. Aspiration isn't necessarily loud. I think what you have in the overseas world is folks who they get comfortable that, hey, $400,000 compared to where I'm living, where the average salary is $30,000, somehow the crutch of being overseas is that you are doing so much better. This is the challenge of maintaining a social circle that's not constantly growing, is that, if you are the wealthiest person from your high school, as I occasionally run into, you're going to think, hey, I'm making $100,000 a year. Everyone from my high school is either making $60,000 a year, or, they're addicted to drugs, or they're dead. Right. Hey, I'm doing pretty well. And again, I'm not trying to bag on anyone making $400,000 or $100,000. It takes a lot of effort to get there. and that should be respected. What I'm saying is, what if your real potential was not $100,000, but it was $1 million? You might never get there because you're surrounded by the wrong folks. And so I think the challenge of going overseas, especially to folks such as myself, which have historically gone to places where the incomes are lower, in my case, because I enjoy watching the opportunities, I see emerging economies as a great place to have a certain friction where I can learn more about myself by having more friction with the culture. I also see it as a chance to see how the world is developing. I haven't wanted to go up until now into places where they're more developed because I wanted to see that. But obviously some folks, and there's nothing wrong with this, choose to go to places where they can stretch their dollar, stretch their euro, stretch their pound. I would encourage that, especially if you're starting out. But you don't want to get too comfortable, and you don't want to go from, let's say, London, where all your friends are making 100,000 pounds, and you're like, all right, I'm making 200,000 pounds, that's not bad, but I got to move faster. So then making 200,000 pounds, keeping more of it, living like a king or a queen, and then putting it all together and saying, oh, why level up? And I think too many people do that. And so actual experience is soft in that regard. You want to keep growing for the point of mastery. I've told the story before. Had a friend, it was a client, became a friend, and I said, why do you keep doubling down on these skills? You're already at the top of your game. He said, mastery. It's all about mastery for me. I want to be the master for myself. And so I think that's the kind of spirit you need to take overseas. I'm not going to say don't do this as a way to save your taxes. Well, I'll be happy to help you. I think everyone who's an entrepreneur or investor who wants to leave their home country, if you're making 6 or 7 figures or 8 figures, you need a holistic plan to figure out what happens in your country, what happens where you're going, where do you bank, where's your residence permit, where's your citizenship. That's what we do at Nomad Capitalist. So we help those folks. We're not going to judge you because you just want to go overseas and kind of be a bit more complacent. Nothing wrong with that. But I would say if the goal is how do I become as successful as possible, how do I become a multimillionaire, how do I spread my values, you want to focus on mastery, and the benefit of having lower taxes, potentially having a lower cost of living, is very powerful in your ability to grow and to compound what you're already doing rather than just to set that aside. So mistakes people I see making, other mistakes. Number 1, following the herd. Nothing wrong with going to Bangkok, nothing wrong with wanting to have a community. I do think some of the communities that are in some emerging places, there is some toxicity in some of them. I'm not saying that about all of them. I'm just saying there have been times when I have seen a certain toxicity that I don't see, for example, in Dubai. I'm not saying everyone who lives. I got friends who live in Bangkok, and we have fun arguments about Bangkok versus KL. They're not part of any of that. But if you're following the herd, what you don't want to do is basically create the Cancun effect, where it's just like spring break for Americans. In Cancun, everybody goes down there. I mean, we had a client event in Cancun a number of years ago when there was a big group of Americans coming in, and I thought to myself, why are you here? It was like May, and I'm thinking to myself, like, there's nowhere warm in the United States you can go. You obviously don't really want to enjoy, Mexico. Yeah, things are a bit less expensive, but not really in Cancun. Like, what is the purpose of coming here to basically recreate what you have in the U.S.? I'm not saying don't go and get a Five Guys hamburger every once in a while, but I'm saying you don't want to be too comfortable where not only are you recreating just your entire kind of social circle, but you're doing so in a place where you get to level up your game. Nothing wrong with any of those things, but you want to continue to be motivated. And so I think people, number 2, become too comfortable living in some of these cheap places. Again, if you look at living overseas as a chance for opportunity, one of the things I think every business owner should be looking at is, or investor too, how can I expand my footprint of services? So a lot of our clients, if they're from North America, they sell to other people in North America. If they're from Australia, they sell to Australia. What if you expanded that? What if you said, hey, listen, I'm an Australian, I'm going to live in Southeast Asia, and I'm going to figure out what services I can offer to people in Southeast Asia, because there are some wealthy people here as well. We've developed, I think it is tied to the fact that we have experience in a team in my travels all around the world. We have clients from, I think, more than 35 different countries, largely Western, but we get folks from Brazil, from Colombia, from all over Asia, because there's that international perspective. And if you know how to service those people, you're going to learn a lot faster by living overseas. So I would look at, in addition to the cheap costs, how do I grow my opportunities by living in somewhere that's up and coming? Another thing that I think people do, especially guys, at one point or another, those of us who lived overseas, we all like to enjoy the social or the dating opportunities in other countries. I've been very honest that, growing up at a time when entrepreneurship wasn't cool, being in my early 20s at a time when it still wasn't really cool, the idea of going to Europe, going to Asia, and meeting people who were in many cases very financially successful on their own, but who liked what I was doing more, had more of a personal interest in me, that was a great thing. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. What I don't want is people who, again, like get all hyped up on the attention and use it as a motivation to do less. And so I don't want people, I never think you should go overseas and just get so comfortable. I don't understand the mentality of getting so comfortable if you're looking to create a great fortune. Also, I think number 3, your surroundings will come to define you. What I look at now at the point that we're at in Nomad is, as much as I like places like Malaysia, for example, there are certain other places where I've spent time that I've started to become a little bit more frustrated with because our game has leveled up and they're just not as efficient in helping me manage my time, for example. And so if you go to countries where time management, time efficiency is not important, that's not going to be as valuable for you as an entrepreneur as you grow bigger. It may work when you're running $1 million business or a $5 million business, but when you have a $25 million business, that's not going to work as well. And so I think that, keeping your wits about you, not becoming too comfortable, seeking opportunity in addition to affordability that you can put back into growing your business and your mission, but don't let, the bad parts of a place define you. And I'm not saying that being inefficient is necessarily bad. Certainly being laid back, probably something that I could learn more from. But if you're in a place that's a bit more laid back and you want to create that $25 million business, we had a guy come to one of our events many years ago and say, you're not going to create a $100 million company in Chiang Mai. You're just not, because the surroundings are going to overcome you, right? And so I have people, I have a gentleman who is older, who created a great company working in the United States, hired hundreds of people, and then went to Chiang Mai. And he was able to do that because the systems were already in place and he could manage them. And if you already have that great company, maybe you can move to Chiang Mai. But if you're starting out, the surroundings are eventually going to start to define you. And so for me, the challenge that I look at myself is, where do I want to go in a place where perhaps I'm a bit more understood on a daily basis, where things move a little bit more quickly, where there is a bit more of what would be called in the book, the culture map, a lower context culture, where there's more clear communication. That's going to become important. And so people say, oh, well, you should just stay in the United States. Well, there's Ireland, there's the UK, there's Singapore, there's plenty of other countries like that, Dubai to some extent. And so when you reach a certain level, I think the flexibility of, if you want to keep growing, you're not going to stay in Bali is important. Some folks will stay in Bali not realizing this. Some folks will stay in Bali thinking, hey, I'll just, why not? I'll just enjoy my $1 million. For me, from a mastery point of view, if you and your business and your skills and the value you add is a $10 million proposition, why would you settle for $1 million? And that may be more challenging to do in certain environments. The other thing is networking. I happen to think that you don't have to necessarily be sitting in Silicon Valley or be sitting somewhere all the time to have networking. One thing I'm trying to roll out is having more parties, going back to my Gatsby party model around the world, but leveling that up to bring in people who are high-level networking opportunities. I have not been the best at this over the years in terms of networking. I like to somewhat stay to myself. But I think that you don't have to necessarily live in Silicon Valley or some kind of high-tax place all the time to take advantage of going and making connections with folks. Obviously, people are talking, on Google Meets, and during the pandemic, it was Zoom and all these things. But you still want to have networking. So the points here are, don't get too comfortable. Don't get too cocky. Focus on mastery. Don't follow the herd. Be a contrarian, but don't overdo it. Seek opportunity in addition to affordability. Reinvest in yourself. Understand how your surroundings impact you, and make sure that you're making contacts with higher level folks. Those are things you can do to become extremely successful while living overseas. I've been doing this for a long time. I continue to evolve. I continue to learn. And if you have a comment on this from your experience, please leave that below, because I would love to hear from you and what you're doing.